Federal government moves to fast-track trial of 5,000 insurgents. And on Davos, Nigeria can capture global supply chains, says Okonjo-Iweala. To arraign Ezekume over UK property. That's talking about Mike Ezekume, senior advocate of Nigeria. An era of corruption, impunity in tertiary institutions over. That's from the federal government. And Nigerians spent 1.58 trillion naira on petrol during the pre-Christmas period. And Royal Rumble, inside power struggle, rocking Oyo Oba's council. And the Awujale stool battle, Ogunhold process, police storm palace. And DNA tests cleared Davido in paternity dispute. That's from the father. And Otis Labour Party bloc seeks reconciliation as court sacks Abure. And we move on to the Vanguard newspaper now. Kaduna abductions, rescue victims now. ACF, CAN, others tell FG. And federal government to scrap HND dichotomy and polytechnics to award degrees. And Troops gain into Timbuktu Triangle, stronghold of Boko Haram and its sub-terrorists. Nigeria shows strong recovery, says Oduwole at World Economic Forum. And we move on to the Nation newspaper now. As strategies for Tinubu's victory in 2027 by APC National Chairman will give graduates industry ready skills. Government to judiciary, rest assured of continued support. And will prioritize widows' welfare, children's education, says NAFOA president. Alleged $9.7 million terrorism financing, Bauchi commissioner, 3 others get 100 million naira bail each. And Hussaini's UK house, Ezekume's arraignment fixed for Monday. And we move on to the cable newspaper now. CAF fines Algeria FA $100,000, suspend players over misconduct after Nigeria clash. And US, NATO have reached Greenland deal framework, says Trump. Nigeria to benefit as EU announces $557 million humanitarian aid for Africa. And the peace deals favor bandits over victims. They always fool government. That's from former Vice President Atiku Abubakar. Abure-led LP rejects ruling recognizing Usman's faction, set to appeal judgment. And Malami accuses DSS of denying him access to family legal team. Alright, we move on to this newspaper now. Initial police denial of worshippers' abduction, troubling. That's from CAN, the Christian Association of Nigeria. And Tuga to investors, do not write off Nigeria based on isolated security concerns. Tuga is Nigeria's Minister of Foreign Affairs. And CBN urges banks to ensure fraud reduction, enforce 30-minute response rule. All right, right, we move on to the Guardian now. Sugar tax dangerous to manufacturing sector. And how Emefiele ordered disbursement of 1.6 billion naira. That's from ex-colleague. The New Telegraph is next now. Any candidate ADC feels in 2027 will defeat Tinubu. That's from former Governor Aminu Tamboa. And 2027 Kebbi and quest for continuity. Nigerians will reject APC in 2027 despite legal intrigues against PDP. That's from Ashimi. And FG moves to end HND disadvantage, OK's degree status for Polytechnic. And Rivers lawmaker 350 million naira constituency project stalls impeachment proceedings. Wike's critic at Deanjo applauds Apokashi Road speed. And Enugu government recovers 1.28 billion naira from Sujimoto. Daily Trust newspaper is next now. 2027, no appointments for non-APC members. Nentawe, that's the national chairman of the APC. LP crisis court orders INEC to recognize Nenadi Usman leadership. And Nasarawa ADC chairman suspended. NACON board members petition Tinubu demand chairman's removal. Kaduna abduction, deny that failed. Alright, we move on to Tribune now. Kaduna abduction, FG must ensure safe release of victims. Peter Obi. And still talking about Kaduna abduction, Nigeria's now at mercy of bandits. Atiku. Ogun government holds selection process to fill vacant Awujale store. All right, we move on to pen pushing now. Department of State Security summons Awujale nominees. And university students commit suicide after losing house rent to gambling. Very sad story there. And Musa Olumo distances herself from media publications of power tussle at Federal Medical Center, Abeokuta. Still staying with pen pushing, father of National Record Online newspaper publisher dies at 83. And finally, on pen pushing, Muslim Ummah commends Oluwo for gracing Southwest meeting. All right, we'll take a short break now. When we return, we'll look at the stories in details. Don't go away, the program resumes shortly.
Your problem is my problem and my joy is your joy. Citizen FM, Citizen FM. Make we join our hearts to build a nation of our dreams. Citizen FM, Citizen FM. Yeah. Your problem is my problem and my joy is your joy. Citizen FM, Citizen FM. Shiki, shiki, shiki. Citizen FM, Citizen
Citizen 93.7 FM Abuja invites you into a space where clarity meets curiosity, where Nigeria finally slows down long enough for us to understand what's really going on. Welcome to Situation Room, our freshly minted 1-hour deep dive into the nation's socio-political and economic heartbeat. Every week, we take one sector, just one, and break it down with analysis that's objective, insightful, and occasionally sprinkled with a smile. Join Lawrence Umoite for Situation Room on Citizen 93.7 FM Abuja every Saturday at 8 p.m. with a repeat on Sunday at 10 p.m. Situation Room, understanding Nigeria, one sector at a time.
Thank you so much for staying tuned. It's your Super Citizen newspaper review on Citizen 93.7 FM Abuja. This is the second half of the show where we go straight into some of the stories in details. Analysts are already seated in the studio. Dr. Kasim Akinriti is here. Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
And Dr. Akinriti is the head of New Media, Voice of Nigeria, also former Chairman, Nigerian Union of Journalists, Lagos State Council. Once again, sir, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
And also Mr. Salman Salami, Chief Operating Officer, Citizen 93.7 FM, Abuja. Good morning, Mr. Salami.
A very, very good morning to you, Lawrence, and our Super Citizen listeners.
All right, talking about our Super Citizen listeners, the phone line is open. You can call us on 0903 2229797. That's 0903 2222797. And also 0818 205. And don't forget that you can join the live stream of this program on YouTube from anywhere you are on earth. Just type in Super Citizen Newspaper Review and you will be part of the show. And you can also send us a WhatsApp message on any of the two numbers if you don't want to make a voice call. Gentlemen, let's talk about terrorism this morning. And the government is talking tough. Counter-terrorism campaign. Federal government moves to fast-track trial of 5,000 insurgents. About 5,000 individuals suspected of involvement in terrorism-related activities are currently being held in pre-trial detention facilities across the country. The large number of detainees has created a large significant backlog of terrorism cases. This was contained in the 2025-2030 strategic plan of the National Counter-Terrorism Center, a copy of which was obtained by the Punch newspaper.
Go ahead, but counter-terrorism in terms of getting all the necessary information that you need to prosecute, and you have to be extremely diligent with it. So probably they might have taken their time to ensure that you wanted to have established a prima facie case against the offenders. So I think it's a charring news that we are hearing there, and let us see how well we can put it. And that's apart from sending signals to these bad guys that yes, government is really at the top of it to sort out the problem, to resolve the problem. Again, the international community will also have it also give them a lot of confidence that yes, Nigeria is also getting it right, in doing this. And that's also related to the issue of former Attorney General, because I think these cases have piled up for so long. And so the question you ask yourself is why don't you prosecute these guys earlier on? There was a time the UAE released names of financiers, about 400 of them. I mean, you have a very at what I can call a cheap price. Let me just use that word. A country is giving you names of financiers after they have done thorough investigation, all you need to do is to just, once you collect the names and everything, you go straight to prosecution, you prosecute them. But you delay, you tarried until the end of the administration. And so that added to the problem that was inherited on this front. So for me, it's a challenge news. Let us see how far they can go.
Mr. Salman Salome.
Well, Dr. Akinreti has spoken really very well. And what we are seeing now speaks volume to our justice system. You see, the number, just as the number of awaiting trials is befuddling and it's troubling, to say the least. We don't seem to be serious about the way we conduct our lives. Well, you could say that it's an inherited problem. But generally speaking, there is a need for us, we as a people, to be deliberate and intentional and run our life the way the civilized nations do run their lives. How will you explain a situation which is to a large extent heartwarming? But let's see how it goes.
Better late than never.
Never.
Just like Dr. Akinreti said, the sheer number of 5,000 detainees across the country. We're not talking about the cost. That's the least of our problem, the cost. But even the security implications of running such detention centers across the world, because you're going to require human resource. People that would have been put to better use are now put to in charge of detainees and everything. And also, the international community is beaming its searchlight on Nigeria. And the next thing you hear, Amnesty International is always there outside. Within the country too, some NGOs that will raise issues, and quite rightly too, because the international laws, which Nigeria is also part of, you don't detain people endlessly. If people are accused of crimes, you put them through trial, and then the sentences are passed and everything. So I would say there is really, I understand the challenges when you are battling with insurgency and so many other things, but it's still not enough for us to just keep giving excuses. Mr. Salami used to say that excuses are always what they are. They remain excuses. Well, better late than never, we've decided. And I hope it will not only be speedy, it will be thorough. Because we don't want situation where scandals will follow this and they say, okay, some of the insurgents were released without going through processes and stuff. We've been through this road before.
Yeah, the international community has a role to play. The civil society groups also have a role to play in this. It's everyone's business to ensure that thoroughness is being done. And then these guys are prosecuted, and then they have their day in court.
Exactly.
And we must do it for the media should also beam searchlights. On these cases. So at the end of the day, everybody can really be at peace.
And not just the media being part of it, the government must also recognize that the Nigerian media needs to play a critical role. Because I have covered trials before, especially when it involves high-profile people. You find out that the foreign media will get some information even before the Nigerian media, because our people, our government officials are at home, always speaking to foreign media. They look at you as a press voice and everything. So this is the time for us to, gentlemen, we have 5,000 people. These are their names. Anything that will not compromise national security, you release it to the media so that they put it on the front burner and follow it up at the end of the day. All right, gentlemen, let's move on. Let's take a little bit trip to Davos now and see what is happening there. Nigeria to benefit from Okay, no, let's take this first because there are two stories on Davos that I want us to take. All right, this is from the Punch newspaper. Nigeria can capture global supply chains. That's from Okonjo-Iweala, our own Okonjo-Iweala, former minister in Nigeria and now Director General of the World Trade Organization. She says Nigeria must deliberately target global investors and supply chain relocations to drive job creations, deepen manufacturing, and reduce import dependence. And she made the remark in a short clip posted for viewing at the Nigerian House during the ongoing World Economic Forum in Davos. Okonjo-Iweala maintained that these disruptions present an opportunity for Nigeria to capture a share of global supply chains, but stressed that this would require aggressive marketing of the country to prospective investors. Mrs. Salami, let's start from you this time.
Well, yes, we can benefit or take full advantage of what is going on in the world. I mean, the world trade. But in doing that, we must put our house in order. Lawrence, at the price of importing, the whole world knows what is going on in your country. And again, we must do the needful at home. And we as a people, as I always say, we should stop demarketing Nigeria. The opposition always think that the best way to campaign is to demarket this country. It is not the way to go.
But it has worked for them over the years. Opposition parties, raw materials for campaign.
It has not worked for them.
Oh, well, it has. I give you an example. I remember when an interview when that was granted El-Rufai, and he was reminded of a statement he made. He said, well, you know, we were in opposition then. We had to enhance anything that was bad against the government to our advantage.
You see, that is myopic. That is myopic, and it's unfortunate that that is the banality of thinking of the erstwhile El-Rufai, if truly he said that. But my position is this. Nigeria belongs to all of us. We should be patriotic. We should be more interested in whatever will enhance the economic development of this country in such a way that Nigeria will bounce back again. There is the need for us to promote prosperity. There is the need for us to promote growth and peaceful coexistence of this country. We can all do this. And if we do this, it will have what I call a multiplier effect. There will be no need for our younger ones to japa the way they always think that, well, it's when you go out of this country that you can be actualized. It's not necessarily so. Well, good things are really, really coming. And good times are here again.
All right, Dr. Akiriti.
Well, it's really a good time. I watched and listened to Minister of Trade and Investments. It's on CNN, and I was extremely happy with her delivery. And she was coasting home with victory in terms of international trade for Nigeria. And he also amplified the reason why we have a Nigerian house in Davos. That was quite extraordinary. And for our own Okonjo-Iweala to also, add fillip to that economic advantage of Nigeria, I think it speaks volumes about the way to go economically. Well, a lot of people have felt, our soundbite outside is quite good, but back home is not really the best. No, that's not true. That's not true. Yeah, because there is no country today that is free for some of these challenges. Even those advanced countries we talk about, they also have their own share of the challenges, and they are coping with it well. And then what we demand from government is accountability. And what we demand for people, from Nigerians, is patriotism at its best. If you continue to demarket your country, it's at your own peril. See, at times people say, at the peak of button, you can get to know what is going on. But the reality is when you have a one-on-one strategic meetings, discussions with investors, with potential, with government organizations and agencies, it also it up the ante in terms of economic growth and development.
All right, gentlemen, still talking about the international community and Nigeria. Nigeria to benefit as EU announces 557 million pounds humanitarian aid for Africa. In a statement issued on Wednesday, press officer to the EU's delegation to Nigeria, and ECOWAS said the aid would focus on Nigeria's northwest region. European Commissioner for Equality, Preparedness and Crisis Management highlighted the EU's commitment at Davos. Long and short, gentlemen, there is this money set aside by the EU for humanitarian purposes, and Nigeria is part of it. This is not the first time. We've seen cases, we've had cases of controversies, misuse of opportunities, and so many other times. Well, do we think this is going to be different, Mr. Salami, this time around, from your experience?
Me, I don't always think that what we need in life is aid. Every now and then, those who gave us the aid, do you think that they are stupid?
Well, they are
if they manage their lives the way we are managing our own, will they be buoyant enough to you? Well, you see, the whole world is interdependent, no doubt about that. And those who are strong should always carry those who are weak. But for how long will the weaklings continue to be weak? Well, maybe we need help, and they are giving it to us. But to me, I think we should think beyond looking for aids.
Dr. Akinresi.
Yeah, absolutely. Mr. Salami said it well. In my first encounter, covering EU African summits in Lisbon, Portugal, was almost about 15 years ago. And I keep asking this question, even up to today. Why is it so impossible for us to maximize some of these benefits? After the talk shop and the rest, and then these things are coming in, how do we, at the end of the day, benefit, potentially, even benefit, in terms of the fulfillment for the people? Yes, the EU grant has always been there. But to what extent has this advanced or helped our economic growth? As Mr. Salami said, aid is not cheap. You must pay something in return. And so that is one reason why the economy at home should also be, buoyant enough to there are some certain things you can even reject. There are some aids you can even reject. But as I said now, we are not in a position to reject any aids or any assistance, any financial economic assistance from international community, because we also need it badly. What is important is to what use are some of these, facilities. That is the question we should be asking our governments, and they need to be transparent about this. And the media should also not sit back in trying to, get, follow up some of these, development aids that are being sent to in Nigeria for the benefit of our people. Northeast particularly, it's a trouble zone. And so people must be accountable in that part of the region about some of these things that are coming in, through assistance from government or even international agencies, donor countries. It is very, very important.
Of ban on sachet alcohol. And the National Agency for Food and Drug Administration and Control has begun enforcing the ban on the production and sale of alcohol in sachets and PET bottles below 200 ml. The DG, Professor Mojisola Adeyeye, disclosed this at a meeting as a media briefing in Lagos. However, enforcement was initially halted after the federal government called for an immediate suspension of all actions and measures related to the proposed ban, pending consultations and final directive. Professor Adeyeye said the agency has now received a marching order from the Senate to proceed, and enforcement has already commenced. Mr. Salami, I'll start from you. Yesterday we witnessed the briefing live in Lagos, although we're in Abuja. And it was I think it was a coincidence, because Mr. Salami, You had earlier said when we come today, we're even going to revisit this NAFDAC's enforcement of ban and why it has not taken off, and only for the DG to give that clarification yesterday. Mr. Salam, let's start from you.
Well, I said so because of what I saw. You know, very close to the Federal Ministry of Finance. And I will say this because it's a fact. You will see the assemblage of young men taking shepe.
Early in the morning.
Very early in the morning, they are there in their hundreds. And I was moved to tears that don't say
it's not your business.
It's not your business. That at least your children are not part of them. They are your children. Baba Olo said that the children of those you deny education will not allow your children to sleep. Are we not there today? What we are seeing today, it is the consequence of our irresponsibility.
Over the years.
Over the years. And unless we speak and we act, we will always be at the receiving end. It's unfortunate that the ban, which was supposed to have taken effect since December.
1st December.
1st December, Lawrence. You remember that we covered that, the woman, the DG, spoke with us on it. And you know corruption as a way of fighting back. Not only corruption. Other interest groups. At a stage, the office of the Secretary to the Government of Nigeria called NAFDAC to order that they should suspend action on it so that what could happen. You see, there is the need for us to realize the consequences of what we are doing. The road you neglected, do you know whether it will consume your members of your family at the end of the day? The money appropriated for a hospital which you did not build, do you know whether members of your family will have cause to use that hospital? The adulterated drugs that you imported to this country, do you know whether a next of kin will be a victim of substandard and fake drugs? What goes round
comes around.
I will stop at that because it's sad that they are putting this mama. They are, see, the woman was on his feet for more than 3 hours yesterday, talking about the consequences of fake, substandard, and adulterated drugs. She spoke at length, and I was moved to tears. How did we get to this level? Do you think somebody will kill a wife and 6 children? If it's normal, to do this, it must be high, quote and unquote. Lawrence, this thing is much more than what we think.
Exactly. Dr. Akinreti.
Yes, I think there is always a nexus between political interest and economic interest. And I think this can also be resolved through adherence to processes by governments and its agencies. Now, the economic interest is that the manufacturer, the producer of this particular sachet, because you find that some of these sachets now are being repackaged in Nigeria. And so it's so easy, for young people, to have access to it. And it also drives the market for that particular product. That you must be able to consider that. The second aspect is the political interests are also talking about that. Look, if these companies there is come to the government, look, we are going to retrench so and so. This is part of the decision you want to take will affect so and so. It's going to affect our production. And the consequence is that quite a lot of people also are going to lose their jobs. So you must be able to now to take a break and balance your economic interests and political interests. And then finally, is about the common interests, which is the overriding factor, because government is about the people, is about the interests of the people. So the interests of the people should now override economic and political interests. And here we are, in this kind of situation, you have professional, highly rated persons that say that this is the consequences of your inaction. And that is in the greater interest of the country as a whole, of the people. Because if your people now have easy access to this sachet, my brother, because it's an easy way of consuming alcohol at its best. And you see how the guys it's so littered around. And people also doing this shamelessly. And they even do it with all sense of, audacity. Thank you. Those who are selling, I was at a particular place, just to measure the pulse of people and say, this is where we are making our money. They want to throw us away. What are we going to eat? Those are the people selling those sachets, right? People that are consuming say, they can't stop it now. This is an easy way of getting high now.
Shining our
eyes, or moving our hands. What do you want to do? The election is coming now. We'll see. I was marveled at these two interests. At that point, as a journalist, when you move around in the field, there's certain information that you have, and then you get shot at. Now, what is really going on? We have allowed this for too long. And that is the consequences of it. If you don't take action when it is necessary, when it is due, you are going to come back and face the consequences in quadruple.
Exactly.
That is exactly what is happening.
Yes. Gentlemen, I think as media men, we always need to shape the narrative, because I know that the manufacturers have been up and doing a lot, especially in the media, selling this fake narrative to the public that, this policy is about to crumble their business. But the truth of the matter is that this thing did not start today. Almost 6 years ago, when the policy was initiated, that was the same argument. And government said, okay, you know what? NAFDAC put this policy on hold for 5 years. Manufacturers, go back and adjust your line of business, adjust your machines and everything, so that at the end of the day, you will not run out of business. 5 years. And everyone agreed. That 5 years lapsed in 1st January 2024. And they came back and said, oh no, you know what, this is happening at the end of the day, lobbies and everything. And government said, okay, and after we give them another 1 year, full year, till December, before you commence. And only for people to now start again. You know what it means for the Senate of a country to give directive to an agency.
They represent the people.
So what more do you need? And a source in government will now say, NAFDAC should put on hold, let us feel the pulse of the people, those things, we've gone beyond that. That is the truth. We've gone beyond that. We need, as media men, to let the world know that NAFDAC on this one is on the right path. Because Mr. Salami was talking about the situation we have around the Minister of Finance. It's not just if you go to Sheraton Junction. If you go to Sheraton Junction and you take a walk from the junction to the hotel, that's the former Sheraton, then you will see.
Bewildered.
And let's not get it twisted. NAFDAC is not banning alcohol, because these are the twisted narratives that they are doing. What we're saying is that the small sachet is easy for students in primary school, secondary, to squeeze into their pocket, for drivers to squeeze into the... No, if you want to engage in that, there are the big bottles. Go for it. That's your business, whatever happens. But don't make it very attractive and accessible to very young children.
And concealable.
That is it. Because the narrative, they're just twisting this narrative around. Who in its right sense will allow his 8-year-old, 9-year-old son or daughter to have as a part of his lunch pack 2 or 3 sachets of alcohol, and you say, no, it's a free world and everything? No. Every government needs to put down its feet and say, no, there are certain things, no matter how economically viable it is. The country cannot say, okay, if you decide to sell poison and you have a lot of people working in your factory, because if we stop the sale of poison, those people will lose its job. And the government will say, okay, no. In the interest of the economic realities, let's leave them. No, you can't afford to do that. We hope they will not thwart this, because the frustration of doing what NAFDAC is doing is terrible. You need to follow the activities of this agency. Just last year, simultaneously in 3 major markets, they had raids. And at the end of the day, over 150 trailer loads of medicines were confiscated. Worth over ₦1 trillion. That's what the DJ confirmed it yesterday. Over ₦1 trillion. So, and we know that it was not possible to mop up every fake drug in that market. So, some of them will spill into the society. You can imagine what would have happened if this 150 truckload of fake medicines went into the market. We think it's a simple thing, but you don't know. You walk into a shop, a pharmacy, you buy painkiller, you don't know that if you're lucky, it will just be chalk. But if you're not lucky, you're taking poison. Your child is ill, you need drips to save his life, but the drip is fake. What will happen? A pregnant woman is in distress and needs medication to save her life. Everything from the syringes and everything fake. What happens?
Honestly, Lawrence, if only people understand the dire consequences of fake, adulterated, and substandard drugs.
Products generally.
Why will praise and appreciate what NAFDAC is doing? There is the need for us to thank the Senate of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. There is the need to appreciate the support from the Office of the National Security Advisor and the security agencies. And there is the need to plead with those in the office of the Secretary to the Government of the Federation. We must say it. We must say it. Because the directive to NAFDAC to halt the ban initially was uncalled for. To all intents and purposes, it wasn't in the interest of this country. I think the social implication of allowing the sachet to the consumption and sale of alcohol in sachet to continue for that little period can better be imagined. To me, whatever economic loss that will, as a result of that, accrue or happen, so be it. What is more important is protecting the future and not mortgaging the future of our youth. Look at all this banditry, Boko Haram, kidnapping. You see, they are under the influence of
alcohol,
illicit drugs.
Yes.
They can't do this thing without being under the influence of all this alcohol and illicit drugs. And look at the palaver that has taken us to now. And we are talking of some people will lose their jobs, so be it.
All right, gentlemen, we thank God that at least NAFDAC has decided to go ahead with it. And we know that at the end of the day, the nation will always be the better for it. People forget that sometimes, most of the time, these things are not personal. And when I see on social media people abuse Professor Ade, I just laugh. I say she doesn't have. In fact, if she's privileged, she can access medical health anywhere in the world. This is the woman who was teaching in the United States for so many years, almost 30 years, as a professor in her field. So whatever you cannot.
Professor of pharmacology.
People are saying, "Oh, you're spoiling business," and I ask, what business are they spoiling? Business of killing people? Business of ruining lives? Is that what you call business?
That's their business.
It's sometimes we take it for granted because we don't know how, the next thing somebody that one woman in the village calls one stepmother as you don't know that somebody, and even Professor Ade also gave a personal experience when she was giving birth. She almost died, and so many other people too. So this is not something we take for granted. You go around to our primary healthcare facilities, there are no drugs. They tell you, oh, go and get this, go and get this. And because you look at the cost, you go to a very cheap drugstore where you think it's cheap, but you don't know that 95% of what you're getting there fake at the end of the day.
All right. There is a need to say this, and I'm saying this with all sense of responsibility. Despite the fact that NAFDAC swooped on some markets, certain section of this country have done what I always call the collective ownership of bad behavior. I wonder why some people, including pressure group from certain part of this country, were saying that they were ruining the business of their people.
Yeah.
How will you call that business, for Christ's sake? For crying out loud.
All right, gentlemen, I'm sure that in days to come we will speak more of this. Let's touch a little bit of politics before we leave, and let's go to Daily Trust. LP crisis, that's Labour Party crisis. Court orders INEC to recognize Nenadi Usman leadership. Gentlemen, Dr. Akiri, did this come as a surprise?
No, not really. But I think it's a breather for Labour Party if they can take this opportunity. Unfortunately, the standard bearer of Labour Party, Peter Obi has left. I'm going to EDC. By now, it could have much more clearer for him to take, the presidential ticket of the Labour Party so easily. But then he's not going to go and struggle out with Atiku in ADC and then likes of Amici, And so, for me, I think Labour Party could use an opportunity for Labour Party to see if they can really come back, and then put their house in order and then move on. But if they don't seize the opportunity again, I decided because the judgment can be appealed. Abure can still appeal judgment, and because in law, in society, you are free. The Supreme Court to work, but we shouldn't forget the Supreme Court has also ruled that political parties must always be deciding. Have the overriding influence that their own affairs, but that is not so extremely instructive to politicians. They still going to manipulate that system, and then it become an embarrassment, to the political system of this country. So for me, when the broker yesterday, I said, well, I think it's hooray for Labour Party at least for now. But if they choose to go the path of perfidy, that is good for them. But the reality is that everything they are doing wrongly, the political parties are doing wrongly, they shouldn't be ascribing it to the ruling party. That's one thing I just want to put. I just want to talk about this morning. Look, each political party has an identity, has its own leadership, and must also know that taking certain bad decisions also has its own consequences on their future. So, for all it takes, it's good now. Let's see how far the Radiants will go if they are able to take the initiative and then move ahead. But if they don't, well, to your tent, O Israel.
Mr. Salome.
You see, in politics, nothing is impossible. If we agree to that, we should look at this issue in LP from so many perspectives. Even within Labour Party, there are factions. Why some people do not even want Peter Obi there. And the party, don't let us forget that Labour Party was, before Peter Obi came, Peter Obi was a joiner. And when he got there, of course, he gave the party a different or a better life. But now as it is, those who claim to be the owner of Labour Party are even saying that Peter Obi's coming to Labour Party was a disaster. And now that his speech is tent with ADC, of course, some of us, we know a lot about political development or political arithmetic of this country. If primaries is conducted in ADC 100 times, Atiku will pick the ticket. Take that to the bank.
All right, I will. I hope my bank will accept that. Anyway, for me, I think just like Mr. Salami said, a lot of people don't know that Labour Party has been around on and off. Governor Mimiko was governor on the ticket of Labour Party. But the truth of the matter is that with the coming of Peter Obi, it changed the face of Labour Party.
A new lease of life.
Yes, and it was a movement. Yeah. What they call the obedience movement.
It was quite organic.
Yes, very, very. And it was quite unprecedented at that time. And that movement was like a flame. I remember a few people, even in Kaduna State, one lawmaker, they said he was an Okada man or something. He won the election without campaign and everything. In Lagos. And even in FCT, you know, people were just, the rush then, the frenzy then was there. But I think it's a different scenario now. You know, every politics is local. And it also depends on the time of the day and everything. So 2027 is not likely going to be like 2023 for for various reasons and everything. So, but let's see. Dr. Akineti said something. Political parties, when they intentionally take wrong decisions, they should also be ready to bear the consequences at the end of the day and not turn around to look for scapegoats at the end of the day. Because look at what is happening. Is it in Ekiti or Ondo State now, the governorship election, that the PDP is having problems in court now because of wrong decisions that were taken at the primaries. Do you understand? And it's going to haunt you. There's no two ways, except when nobody protests. If the party takes a wrong decision, nobody goes to court, then you know that you are home and dry. But the moment somebody, a member of your party, challenges that, this is, we are likely to see a lot of this. Politics is just beginning now. The real politics is just beginning now, and we are likely to see a lot of this. Gentlemen, thank you so much for your time. It's always a pleasure to have you guys on the show. Thank you so much, Dr. Akineti, for your time.
My pleasure always.
And Mr. Salman Salami, so we'll have you on the show, sir.
It's a pleasure.
All right, that's our package on the show today. The program returns tomorrow at 7 a.m. bright and early. My name is Lawrence Omaite. Enjoy the rest of your day.